Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
A Southern Kentucky husband and wife and their grandchild all found dead in a house fire. You'll hear from a family member about the tragedy.
Tracking a squall line of severe thunderstorms into western Kentucky. That is likely to hold together and impact our region later tonight. We'll put a track on it and time it into where you live in a moment.
The first case of Ebola has been contracted here in the U.S., and the CDC is blaming a breach in protocol. Welcome to WKYT News at 4. Jennifer Palumbo has the afternoon off. The weekend rain has carried over to the start of our work week with more showers and thunderstorms heading right toward the bluegrass. This is a live look now of downtown Lexington, where it's a bit gloomy out there. A little bit of blue sky trying to show. A WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day is in effect because of strong storms that could move into our region overnight. We start with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey in the First Alert Weather Center tracking it all. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, indeed, Amber. Hi there. We are tracking that big line of thunderstorms that is out across western Kentucky now. Here's the storm system that is responsible with a very strong cold front to the south. And look at that line that goes from Illinois through western Kentucky, western Tennessee, all the way toward the Big Easy of New Orleans. Severe thunderstorm warnings are now out for western parts of Kentucky. That line is gradually working its way now into Kentucky. It's around the Fulton County area, bearing down on Paducah. Nothing going on across central or eastern Kentucky. We have to wait for several more hours. I think we're okay in the short term this evening. It's once we get deeper into the overnight, we're going to see those showers and storms working in. Those storms will be very heavy rain producers. Flood watch, flash flood watch is out for much of central and eastern Kentucky. That will kick into high gear late this evening and take us through the day on Tuesday. A lot of this area has picked up several inches of rain over the past several days. So that severe weather threat this evening pretty much staying to our west of Interstate 65, and then later tonight the storms begin to move in. That squall line arrives. Severe thunderstorm threat will be on the increase, and slowly but surely that line is expected to work through central and eastern Kentucky on your Tuesday. Damaging winds, heavy rainfall, the main threats from that. Amber, when I come back in a little bit, we're going to take some of our more sophisticated computer models and track that line of thunderstorms into the area. We'll show you that hour by hour in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. A husband and wife and their 2-year-old granddaughter all killed in a house fire. The tragedy happened early yesterday in McCreary County at home on Sycamore Trail in Whitley City. State police are investigating but believe the fire was accidental. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked with relatives of the victims and has more now from Whitley City in our top story at 4.
State police say that they believe that some kind of electrical problem will likely be ruled the cause, and relatives tell me that they question if possibly a heater was the problem that sparked this fire that killed the 3 people that were inside early on Sunday morning. All 3 victims, 52-year-old David Perkins, his 48-year-old wife Lisa, their 2-year-old granddaughter Shaylin, all found together in the bedroom of the home. Relatives say they believe that they died in their sleep. The 2-year-old was spending the night with her grandparents when something caused the fire to break out.
Billy Corral told us that it looks like electrical problem with the heater that they had going on in the living room, that that the heater may have gotten too hot or may have tipped over or something. I don't know. I was just in shock when he was telling me.
Now, Crabtree is also Lisa Perkins' son and David Perkins' stepson. The family is at the McCreary Funeral Home making arrangements this afternoon. Much more on how this family is dealing with such an awful tragedy at 6 o'clock. But for now, in McCreary County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And again, police did send an arson investigator to look into this case, but no foul play is suspected. Police in southern Kentucky rounded up 19 suspects who collectively owe more than $300,000 in child support. All of those suspects arrested are wanted on various child support warrants across Laurel County. Sheriff's deputies and city police worked together on Operation Cops for Kids. They arrested the suspects early Thursday morning. You're going to hear from the Laurel County Sheriff's Department about the roundup on WKYT News at 5. We are working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us now from the newsroom with a look at some of the news that's in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Amber. A 15-year-old is in custody this afternoon. Police say he went on a joyride across the state in a stolen dump truck. State police caught up with the teenager after a traffic stop on I-75 in Richmond. We're told the teen took the truck from a company in Barron County this morning after running away from home. State police say the teenager will probably be charged with receiving stolen property. On WKYT News at 5, you'll hear from an officer who says since the teen is not of driving age, it could have been a lot worse. Tonight, 2 of the 3 candidates for U.S. Senate will face off for their first and probably only debate. Senator Mitch McConnell and Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes will debate on KET. KET did not invite the Libertarian candidate, David Patterson. He asked a judge to force KET to include him, but the judge denied that request. The debate will be during KET's Kentucky Tonight at 8 o'clock. This is the only debate both campaigns have agreed to, and we'll have more on the debate coming up on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. An upset Lincoln County principal says vandals are targeting her school's playground. The Stanford Elementary School principal says vandals broke swings, wrote vulgar words on playground equipment, and tore up pads covering the concrete. Coming up at 6 tonight, you'll hear from the principal who says she's frustrated because the space was designed to be enjoyed, not destroyed. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Amber, back to you.
All right, Sam, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you. Now to some stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Health officials are looking into what procedures were or were not followed after a healthcare worker in Texas contracted Ebola caring for an infected patient. Andy Rose has the details.
We have to rethink the way we address Ebola infection control.
According to Director Tom Frieden, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is conducting an investigation to determine how a Texas nurse contracted Ebola. She was part of the team caring for Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan, but wore the mandated mask, gown, shield, and gloves. Health officials say there was a breach in protocol, but have not provided any specific details. One step being closely evaluated is the removal of personal protective gear.
If it is contaminated, there's the possibility that a worker will contaminate themselves and become infected in that process.
National Nurses United, the country's largest nursing association, is calling for more training for health workers caring for Ebola patients.
Not one more healthcare worker or one more nurse should be infected. In this country, we have the resources to contain and eradicate.
Meantime, the CDC is now monitoring dozens of other Dallas healthcare workers who came into contact with Duncan, worried that they may have had the same kind of breach which led to the nurse's infection. So far, none of the people being monitored has presented symptoms. I'm Andy Rose reporting.
A Louisiana waste disposal facility says it will not accept the ashes generated when a Texas Ebola victim's belongings were incinerated, at least not until state officials agree that it would pose no threat to the public. The head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention told reporters today incineration and chemical treatment of the infected waste is enough to remove any risk. Turkey has given the U.S. and coalition forces permission to use its bases to fight the Islamic State militants. The agreement includes use of a key installation within 100 miles of the Syrian border. The Obama administration has been pressing Turkey to play a larger role in the fight against ISIS. A down day on Wall Street today. The Dow was down about 223 points. The Nasdaq was down over 62 points, ending the day at 4,213. The S&P 500 also had losses. There has been another data breach, this time at Kmart. Parent company Sears says in early September, hackers used malware to compromise credit and debit card information of some customers. The company doesn't believe PINs or social security numbers were stolen. Soon, you're going to be able to shop without your wallet thanks to Apple and Walgreens. An online memo to Walgreens managers was leaked over the weekend. It says Apple Pay will go live this Saturday in Walgreens stores. Customers need a new iPhone with an updated iOS 8 to use the payment service. All you have to do is tap your phone to the upper portion of the store's PIN pad to pay for your purchase. Drivers are seeing prices continue to fall at the pump. A national survey reports that Americans are paying 12 cents on average less than they were 3 weeks ago. Prices have dropped for 16 weeks because of lower crude oil prices. The average for regular gas is about $3.26 per gallon. Here in Lexington, a gallon of gas is a little over $3 this afternoon. Women are generally better at putting money away for retirement, but they still have less in their 401ks than men. That is according to research by Vanguard, an investment management company. According to the survey, women are 10% more likely to enroll in their workplace savings plan than men and save a bigger chunk of their paychecks. But the women surveyed had an average savings account balance of $78,000. That is far below the male average balance of $121,000. It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. There's no cure for the Ebola virus, but that isn't stopping some online companies from claiming they have one. Allison Harmelin has a warning from federal regulators.
Search the internet and you'll find several sites promoting supplements to treat the deadly Ebola virus.
Anytime there's a new health scare, we often see companies pop up online that try to take advantage of consumers.
The Federal Trade Commission is sending warnings to sites that claim their products can treat Ebola, including a company called the Natural Solutions Foundation.
And the cure and prevention for Ebola is a nutrient.
The foundation's medical director, Dr. Rima Lebo, says a product called nanosilver can fight off several viruses, including Ebola.
Nanosilver, 10 parts per million, will inactivate the Ebola virus.
The government sent a warning letter to the Natural Solutions Foundation telling the company the claims are a violation of federal drug marketing laws.
There are no FDA-approved vaccines or products that you can buy online that would cure, prevent, or treat Ebola.
Officials at the Natural Solutions Foundation say although they strongly disagree with the warning letter, they plan to comply with the government's concerns. The company says it will make changes to its websites.
You've heard about Ebola.
Parts of Dr. Lebo's video come with a disclaimer that says nanosilver is not FDA approved.
Ebola is uniquely deadly.
The government is now targeting other companies. Authorities say those who continue to make false health claims could face fines and other criminal action. Allison Harmelin for CBS News, New York.
A new study in pediatrics is looking at how family meals impact the child's weight. Researchers found overweight children often ate quickly in rooms other than the kitchen. They also found positive encouragement from parents during meals was linked to healthy weight children. Snap a pic, share it, and it's gone. Well, that's how the photo sharing app Snapchat built its business. That idea of privacy lured teens to that app. About half of its users are between the ages of 13 and 17. Many shared nude photos thinking the images would disappear, but other apps have found a way to store and save Snapchat pictures. And now hackers claim to have stolen 100,000 private pictures and videos. And the hackers say they may publish those private images, which is likely to include child porn. Snapchat says its servers weren't tampered with, but that its users were victimized. For more health, education, and consumer news, just log on to WKYT.com and click on Better Living. That's just now where we're getting started, so stick with us. 4:30 is starting right now.